Hey, welcome back. This is our second segment. This is All Sports Incorporated. Check us out on ibtv.us, Roku TV, and YouTube. Comment, subscribe, like what we got going on. My name's Trey Johnson, and this is my co-host, Harold Johnson.
Good.
And second segment, we're going to be talking about the NFL draft. What do you got for us? What do you think's going on right now? What's the biggest story of the week?
Well, the big story right now is who's going to go number one. And they feel like it's going to be one of the top three collegiate quarterbacks. Josh Rosen from UCLA.
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah.
I like the kid Allen from Wyoming.
Which is right up the road from
Yeah.
us, folks.
My least favorite is Sam Darnold from USC.
Well, I don't think he's ready. I don't think it's about him, not being a good quarterback. But I think he should have went back to school one more year, and I just don't think he's ready. And I don't think he's worth the top pick, most definitely.
When we were speaking about this before, I wouldn't pick a quarterback this year as the top three. None of them hit me hard enough to think that they are going to be the person that can lead your franchise to a championship. All three of them would be worth picking at the bottom of the first round because you could surround them with a really great team. We have to remember, most of the great quarterbacks have at least one season to sit. I can't believe what would have happened with Aaron Rodgers if he'd been thrown into the fire. He had 3 years to sit underneath a great quarterback, a great organization, figure out how it's done, and you see how that's helped him.
And they were ready to go. A lot of people don't realize that, folks. Going back on Aaron Rodgers and the Brett Favre Chronicles, after Brett Favre left, they had a great line, they had a great running game, they had a great defense, so their team was ready for Aaron Rodgers to mature and be ready. I actually want to counter you with the biggest news, though. I think right now the biggest news is A.J. McCarron. He got out of his rookie deal with the Cincinnati Bengals, and I think that the Browns, who have the first pick in the draft, are going to actually pursue him really hard for them to be his quarterback. Hugh Jackson already tried to get him earlier in the year, and that trade fell through. So
now they don't have to give up anything now, though, right?
They don't have to give up anything.
He's a free agent.
He's a free agent, and I think they're going to pursue him very heavily. And I think that that's going to shake up everything in the quarterback continuum as far as drafts go.
Well, being drafted at quarterback by the Cleveland Browns is like being drafted to play anything with the Philadelphia 76ers. It's the kiss of death. And whoever goes there for the money, because they certainly don't know how to pick a quarterback because they don't know how to pick anything to go around him. I think in that first round, those teams that are at the top of there, they need so much, and you build from the inside out. You can have the best quarterback, you can have great receivers, you can even have great running backs if there's no one to block for them. It doesn't matter. On the defense, you can have great corners, great safeties if there's no one on that front seven.
You got to cover for a minute.
It's just not going to work. So some of them listen so much from the outside about who's great, and then of course we have the combine coming up, and they get enamored with size, speed, how high a person can jump, how much they can bench press. There's no bench pressing contest out there, but there is speed out there at times. So you want speed, you want to be able to look at tape and see who performed, because many times you take a kid like arguably the greatest inside linebacker from the Panthers.
Oh, you're talking about
he went to Boston College. Eckley or
I forget his name.
He would not jump out as the greatest physical specimen.
No,
but he is the best
and
linebacker.
The smartest linebacker.
He knows where to be. He does his study. So you have Luke Kuechly. So you have a lot of these kids who are physical specimens, but don't want to do the kind of work that you have to do. Case in point, down with the Houston Texans, the great defenseman that they got from South Carolina. Just was not ready to do.
He's playing better this year.
He's playing better, but he should have. When they drafted him, A.J. Watt, who was considered the greatest at that time before he got hurt, A.J. Watt said, "If I had the talent, I just know it's not even close." He has so much talent, way more than me. But Watt was able to focus and work And this kid just kept playing off of being greatest athlete of all. But you go down, those people need running backs. What are the best running backs you think right now?
Right now, Saquon Barkley is hands down the best running back from Penn State. Guys, if you don't know who Saquon Barkley is, then type it in on YouTube and watch his highlight tape. I also like the Georgia running backs. Nick Chubb's amazing. Sony Michel's amazing. Sony Michel's actually has Haitian descent. He's a great kid. There's also the guy we both like, and I can't think of his name. We talk about him all the time, though, from San Diego State.
Yes.
He's amazing. He's one of those, he's a big back, but he's got size and power. And
well, the Arizona State kid's the one I like.
No, that Kalen Ballage. He's from Colorado, from Peyton, Colorado, right up the road. Actually, folks, if you don't know who he is, he played at Arizona State. And he actually owns the FBS record for most touchdowns in a game. He had 8 touchdowns in one game, and it wasn't against any slouches. It was against Texas Tech. So that's, big competition.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like those as the running backs. You're going to hate me for this, but I like Josh Rosen. I think Josh Rosen is the only quarterback that should be taken in the first round. I think if the Broncos took him, I think if the Cincinnati Bengals took him, I think they would be playoff contenders right now.
Well, you still have to remember, man, there's pieces that you have to put around him. The Broncos would still have to shore up that offensive line.
Right.
I believe if he's available, the Broncos would take him. I don't think he'll be available, though.
Well, with A.J. McCarron, you got to think about this. So the number one pick goes to number one pick is going to be somebody outside of a quarterback, because I believe the Browns are going to get A.J. McCarron in free agency. So I think they take Minkah Fitzpatrick from Alabama. He's a can't-miss pick, okay?
Defensive kid.
Defensive
right.
kid, plays corner and plays safety. Folks, if you don't know who he is, YouTube him. He's a can't-miss Hall of Famer. So second, we've got the New York Giants, okay? I think the Giants probably take Josh Allen. Josh Allen's from Wyoming. He's a big, strong, physical kid. He's got the strong
Giants
arm.
like.
The Giants like that. Reminds you of some of their other quarterbacks. So then third, I think you get the kid Bradley Chubb from MC State, the DN.
Mm-hmm.
And
see, that goes more the way I'm thinking.
Yeah. And then fourth, the Browns have the 4th pick. They pick up Saquon Barkley.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 5th pick, who do you have sitting there who hasn't been picked yet? Josh Rosen,
the Broncos.
The Broncos.
Yeah.
So I think that's how it goes down.
Now, here's the only thing, man, with what I would have different than that. And just take this, folks. The real high-profile running backs that come from big conferences, they have too much mileage on them.
Yeah.
And they don't usually do as well as the smaller market running backs. The Johnson kid from the Cardinals, he played in the MAC.
Yeah, David Johnson.
The kid we're talking about from San Diego State.
Yeah.
Not as many miles, not as many big hits, not as many injuries.
Right.
There's lots of mileage on Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
I mean, he's run the ball, and those kids from Georgia, my God.
Oh, yeah.
Lots.
My guy is Kalen Ballage. I love Kalen Ballage.
See, now he's the right, nice in the middle. Mm-hmm. He played in the Pac-12.
Yeah.
Great competition.
Never started.
Never started because their coaching staff was always suspect. So they never used him like, had he been someplace else, he didn't carry the ball 30 times a game.
Exactly.
But he didn't he might have got touched the ball 5-6 times a game. How do you have a kid that scores 8 touchdowns in one game and he's not your leading?
Right.
Come on.
And picked off, did kickoffs, did punts. It was a great receiver out of the running, out of the backfield. Was a great receiver out of the backfield. He reminds me a lot of Le'Veon Bell.
Mm-hmm.
Same size, same. I think.
And the Broncos could get him in the third round.
Fourth round.
Fourth round. He'll still be there, and that would be a great pick for regional.
Yeah. Do you have any dark horses in the draft, or any dark horses?
I'm just wondering if in those first 10 picks, they say no, but in those first 10 picks, I can't believe that someone's not going to pick up one of the great offensive linemen
from Notre Dame.
Yeah, he's got to be first to go. See, I would pick him before quarterback with the Broncos if it were me. I would have got someone. And no, just got to remember, folks, and we're going to wrap up here in a second. But one of the arguably greatest quarterbacks of all time, Brett Favre, he came as an easy trade from the Atlanta Falcons to Green Bay. He was not drafted by Green Bay.
Right.
Get someone who you know is a professional if you don't want to draft him, and then you can go all the way with them.
Yeah. And one of those great Those great guys we're talking about is Corey Nelson. He's a guard, and then Mike McGlinchey, he's a tackle. But we're going to wrap it up, folks, and we're going to finish up talking about the NBA and all the great things that are going on with that. So check us out on our second break.